Welcome to the Up-Level Dairy Podcast. I'm your host, Peggy Cauthen, and it's my mission to bring you the conversations that will up-level your skill set and your mindset so you can be a top performer in the dairy farming business. And this week, we bring to you a 3-part series to celebrate the month of March: International Women's Day, Women's History Month, National Agriculture Day, and that is why we are right here today at Pagels Ponderosa Dairy in Kewaunee, Wisconsin. We will be visiting with 3 very special guests, 3 women who are leading the way right here on the dairy, within their community, and far beyond into the industry. Jamie Witzpolek, Chase Pagel, and Ashley Pagel, each who bring a special and unique gift and experience to the roles that they have in moving this dairy farming business and family enterprise forward. This family has endured their share of hardships, particularly the tragic loss of John T. Pagel 6 years ago, the family patriarch and well-loved leader in this industry, as well as son-in-law Steve Witzpolek. Yet, this family has rallied together to carry on a legacy and a business, and you will be hearing from Jamie, Chase, and Ashley of the unique gifts that they are bringing, their experiences, and their true resilience that combine to continue to move Pagel Family Businesses forward. This special series is brought to you by Compeer Financial. Compeer Financial is a member-owned farm credit cooperative serving and supporting agriculture and rural America. Their dairy team brings world-class expertise and tailored solutions to support dairy producers' financial goals and lending needs. Find details for Compeer Financial in our show notes. In this episode of the Up-Level Dairy Podcast, I'm joined by Ashley Pagel. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you.
Ashley, tell us a little bit about yourself and your role here at Pagel Family Businesses.
Well, I am the HR manager for Pagel Family Businesses. That does include all of its sites, locations, departments, which is approximately 330-ish employees between all part-time, seasonal, and full-time. I have been a part of this family for just over 20 years, which means the greatest part about my job is that I get to work with family, whether that's fortunately or unfortunately, depending on the day, because that includes my husband. Brian is my husband. He is responsible for the maintenance and cheese operations for Pagel Family Businesses. We have 3 daughters, an older 14-year-old and 2 soon-to-be 12-year-old twins, so all a teenager and 2 preteens. It's very interesting in the house.
So you work with your family, including your 2 sister-in-laws that are part of this series that we're doing on women who are leading dairy. So Jamie, and then also Chase, and then today we visit with you, Ashley. And so, as you mentioned, your role here includes human resources and overseeing more than 300 employees. And this is a deviation from what I understand in your career path.
Yes.
So what was the story of how your path led you to the dairy and to the business?
Well, I always laugh about this because my father-in-law would always joke, you have 3 more years before you have to, come work at the farm. You have 5 years before you have to come work at the farm, whatever it may be. He always joked about it. And to be honest, my answer was always like, I'm never going to be at the farm. I was very happy and content. I was in healthcare for 16 years. Straight out of high school, I went to school for physical therapy, actually. Found out that it was not right for me. I just didn't like the hands-on responsibility of the healthcare world. Stayed in it, however, as a patient service representative, and over that 16 years, moved into more responsibility doing, ultimately when I left, it was disability and FMLA paperwork, which I found I liked the back end of things. So when my youngest, the twins, went to 4K, I went back to school, and I just did that days and nights while they were gone. And then I did my internship here at the farm. It was convenient. Just a few minutes from home. And fortunately for me, a position opened up shortly before I was done with school. And so I've been here ever since, about 6 years now.
So you finally answered your father-in-law's call to be a part of the family business.
Yes.
And your experience in healthcare, as you said, you found out that you really enjoyed the back end of things. And really, that integrated well with understanding workplace situations and employees, right? So how do you see your past experiences, how they kind of set you up to transition into this role at the dairy?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, by the end there, I was doing a lot of that disability FMLA paperwork. So that's a part of my role still yet here. So I had that experience, but then it's also working with a lot of people and, like all the different physicians and things like that. That communication piece and learning how to, work with others is a huge part of human resources. So it's largest benefit in my opinion.
Yeah. And so now your everyday is here. Yeah. So, all right. So as you've transitioned into what you do now, what is it that brings you the most joy when it comes to managing the human resources side of Pagel Family Businesses?
I think my favorite part is that every day is different. I could probably write a book on some of the things that happen on a day-to-day basis, but outside of that, it's the people. I just love the people. I love meeting all the new employees. I love learning more about the current employees. I love learning about the different cultures that I, wouldn't anywhere else. Watching people grow and, into their roles or even in their personal lives, you learn a lot from people.
Yeah. And so Ashley, I have a lot of conversations on the Up-Level Dairy podcast with dairy owners and managers, and oftentimes we talk about the challenges of managing people and the next evolutions that many are going through in their businesses of professionalizing a human resources department. And you're really leading those efforts in the dairy industry to do that. What do you believe are some of the strengths of your human resources department right here?
I think that we're a small team, so I just think it's the collaborative efforts. We're not one-minded, we're not this large corporation that, you kind of have to rely on yourself. It's a lot of brainstorming, it's a lot of looking at different, ways of doing things or changing things up. I mean, Jamie and I will sit and brainstorm for hours, days, on how to make things better. And it's nice to have that one-on-one in this small office setting and bounce things around.
Yeah. And so when we talk about HR, what all falls under that umbrella here?
Everything. I call it a jack of all trades. I do everything from onboarding. We have a payroll and benefits gal, so she handles most of that, but I do those on Thursday and Friday, help out with any assistance on that because she works Monday through Wednesday. We do rental. We have rentals. I've done rental inspections. I've shown people how to do their laundry. It's just, we're, part of the job. Like I said, I do consider it a jack of all trades, even though we do have our set, departments. We have a safety team, the payroll and benefits. We have an accounting team, but we're still all, responsible for a lot of those aspects.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're doing the compliance pieces of human resources, but at the end of the day, you're taking care of people and you're going above and beyond, doing the extra things so that you're not just providing a place for them to work, but you're showing a path to being successful in their lives outside of here. If it's as simple as a task that may seem simple to many of us, how to do your laundry, but have you seen where taking that time to do those things that go above and beyond to really take care of your team members, how have you seen that make a difference?
I think that is a very large factor in retention. I mean, when people feel that they are valued as a person outside of a job and you take that time with them, I mean, that's invaluable. It's such a valuable piece of that portion.
Yeah, no, I think it's underestimated what those little touches and efforts do when you really add them up to create, as you said, that piece for retention. And it goes into what Jamie talked about as well with the culture here, a culture of positivity.
And family, and yes, more than just employees, we're a family.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I want to talk a little bit more about the HR piece with you, Ashley. one of the biggest challenges that so many producers are facing is how to really, professionalize that aspect of their business. And you mentioned that one of the things that falls on your plate is onboarding. Would you share just a little bit about what the process is like for a new employee at Pagel Family Businesses?
So mostly it's the same. We do have a bilingual HR assistant who helps with that portion. I'll take care of the English portion, but both of the processes are the same. I mean, first days are spent in safety training, kind of a long day, at least a half a day in that, and then they'll do their paperwork with me. They can hand it off to their manager at that point, and each manager has a checklist. They go through showing them the time clocks and the break rooms and everything anybody would need to know where it is, as well as the safety side of things, how to report an injury, SDS sheets, things like that. After that, we also have guidelines on how often to check in with employees. On the first day, it's more of a hands-on day, but on day 2, how many times to check in within that first week and the following weeks. And then we do try to get with them in a sit-down format within 30 to 60 days just to see how their role is going. Is it a right fit? Do they have any questions, concerns, anything that we can improve on? So we really try to make it the best experience for them.
Yeah, and how has it made a difference?
I like to think that it's going very well. We've also done things outside that has tried to, help with any questions as well. We've created shift leaders and that they can report to or that watch, more, because not everybody is here in third shift, right? Your resources are a little bit more limited. So just that they have those people to go to. We haven't actually tracked our turnover, but I do record all of the new hires, and I can positively say that our spacing is getting much larger. So
it sounds like you have intentionally spent a lot of time with getting employees started off on the right foot with onboarding and the ongoing process that leads into of the check-ins and the reviews. So when you look at the HR department here, what do you see as the next greatest opportunity for you?
I would say looking for some way to do an electronic form of some of these processes. I kind of think that's the future of things. Now I've been out of healthcare or corporate company for 6 years, but I can only imagine everything is digitalized. So I think that not having to do everything and track everything in spreadsheets and on paper and, even completing that onboarding paperwork and those check-ins, it'd be nice to have an electronic format.
Yeah, the epic, the dairy epic.
Right, yes, right? It would be, it would be wonderful. I'm not a paper person. That was one of the things I brought here too. Everything was on paper. I'm like, I do not like all this paper. First of all, paper's easy for somebody to see and take. Everything gets scanned into our payroll system, and managers can view that. I can view that, not everybody can view it, just direct supervisors and our HR department, but it's so much easier to find too, everything's scanned right in that system. I'm like, it's so silly to have everything on paper. And then where do you keep all that?
So you have minimized the storage here and also improves the ability to track compliance and have consistency and transparency within an entire team, within an organization. Ashley, that's a big deal. And what you may not realize is that you are setting a standard for what other dairies will look toward and what they can create in their ability to professionalize their human resources department.
That's so great to hear.
So when we look at this bigger picture, Ashley, of you have now been integrated into the family business for several years. You've been able to own this role of building out a human resources department. When you really look at this bigger picture, what inspires you? What's the drive inside of you to continue to make these improvements and continue to really just own your unique space in this family business?
It's funny because when you think of somebody who inspires you or a role model, you think of somebody who, has maybe experienced things longer than you have or been in the industry longer. And those are typical people who inspire you or role models, right? But my inspiration actually is my girls. And, as a parent, we try everything in our power to make sure that our children turn out to be good human beings, right? You want them to turn out great. Whether that be personally, academically, athletically, in faith, no matter, in every way. And my girls will come home with stories of situations they've encountered or things that they've done, and I look at them, I'm like, wow, you guys handled that better than I would have. So you're both proud, but that also, makes you want to do better and be better. And almost become more like them. I'm like, well, you're a better person than I am. It makes you proud as a parent too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And on that same thought, when we think about, women in leadership in the dairy industry, in the community, and right within our own homes, and you have 3 beautiful girls, what do you hope they learn from you?
I hope that they learn to surround themselves with people who make them better. I've been very fortunate with, not only coming here, but coming here is a big piece. It was a new role for me. It was a completely different industry. I've learned so much. I've been supported by so many people here to make me better and grow and learn. And so I hope that they do and continue to, surround themselves with people like that. And the other big piece of that is to be grateful. Grateful for everything they have. There's always going to be, people who have it worse than you and people who have it better than you. So don't compare, don't compete. Just do your thing and be grateful for what you have. And they're learning that slowly, maybe not in big aspects in life, but they are teenagers and preteens, and they come home a lot and are like, so-and-so has this. Well, that's great for them, but, that's good life lessons.
Yeah. And what's your dream and your hope for them and their futures? Do you see them being a part of this business someday?
I just want them to be happy in life, wherever that may take them. I wish I could say I see them here. I don't at this moment. That could change. 2 little ones are only 11. My oldest wants to be a nurse, so she's pretty dead set on that. She's explored colleges and acceptance rates and grades, and she's dead set on being a nurse. So my youngest of the twins by a minute, she's my little sensitive one, so I always think she's going to do teaching or something. And my middle child, I'm like, oh, well, she better marry rich. Because I'm not sure what that one's going to do. Love her, greatest personality, best, most fun-loving child there is, but I don't know.
Oh, so perhaps their future will lead them back to the family business and the dairy business, just as your path has led you here. And Ashley, your story, it's not that much different than some others out there that will be listening to this podcast, of women who had a career outside of dairy, but were able to bring incredible value, insights, experiences, and their natural talents to make their dairy business better. And so what's your advice to some of our listeners out there that might be in your shoes? Maybe they were where you were, 6 or 7 years ago.
I would say just take the time to really learn and identify who you are and what you love. Like I said, I started out of high school thinking I wanted healthcare, and I learned that I didn't not like healthcare, but I liked that back end. I thought that was that paperwork, the parts that maybe people think that are boring. Explore those options. Don't shut down opportunities and just brush them off and just stay complacent in a role that isn't the best fit for you.
Yeah, and that right there is excellent advice for all of us. Well, Ashley, it's been a pleasure to visit with you about your role here at Pagel Family Businesses, about the path that led you here, the incredible impacts that you're having on the people within this organization and within the girls that you're raising, that next generation that just may end up back here someday too.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to the Up Level Dairy Podcast. This special series is brought to you by Compeer Financial. Compeer Financial is a member-owned farm credit cooperative serving and supporting agriculture and rural America. Their dairy team brings world-class expertise and tailored solutions to support dairy producers' financial goals and lending needs. Find details for Compeer Financial in our show notes.